how hard did you push it till I black out? Yes. Numerous times, yes.
What's happening, Municipals? This is the whole crew. It's been, I don't think we've done this since we introed PAX, and ironically, this is our last pod of the year. And so we're here to kind of do a summary of the year, talk what we're thankful for, just kind of catch up a little bit live. We've all been kind of doing a bunch of stuff. PAX has kind of had another big life event for him. But before we kind of go to the holidays, we wanted to kind of wrap up as a crew. And after this, we're kind of get in the lab and do a lot of off-season planning. But yeah, I mean, to start off, first of all, it's great to see you guys. I thought we'd just go around and say kind of what we've been up to. And yeah, I mean, we've been putting out podcasts, but I've done one with JD and Big did one with Brandon. We just haven't been together a lot because the last part of this year has been crazy. So Pax, want to lead us off? What has been new with you? Is that a different background that we're seeing?
Oh, yeah. It's a new background. So I moved out of Portland, moved to the burbs, but the burbs of Washington. So I'm like 30 minutes south of Tacoma in this place
he's
called
neighbors
Lacey.
with my parents.
Yeah, I'm neighbors. I actually live on a golf course that Big has played before. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'm like literally, I think the tee box of number 7 of like Woodlands, I want to say, is like right over there, but it's like protected from this little nature reserve, which is really cool. But I can see people like teeing off, which is it's freaking awesome, I want to say. But yeah, I moved up to Lacey, moved to the burbs. It's a different feel than Portland. Like it's 10 minutes to get to like a grocery store, driving like 40 miles an hour, which is different. But I also got a new job, which is super exciting. A remote job for this company called Game Time. Still doing marketing stuff, still doing digital marketing, but new chapter overall. Kind of stressful. Got a new kid, new job, new house, but surviving, making do.
Big stuff, man. It's kind of funny. Like as you guys know, I'm a recruiter by trade, and it's kind of funny when once in a while when people kind of get cold feet, like sometimes because of situation. I actually say this, and it's not just because I want the person to sign. To be clear, I'm looking for the right fit for people, but I also kind of say it's kind of good just to rip the Band-Aid off all at once, right? It's like you've had a bunch of new in the last 6 months, and you're still kind of processing it. But by the time we get to like spring, you're going to be super dialed on your new job. The kid's going to, I mean, it's probably still going to be hard. You're going to be like, the kid's going to be like pooping on you and stuff still for a while. And the new house. So, I mean, congratulations. That's, it's a lot to bite off in 7 months, but, yeah, I think all it means is the boy is going to be super dialed on video content next year. That's what I'm hearing from a Municipals perspective.
Yeah, just gotta
the video is going to be dialed next year. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Jack, what's up with you, dog?
Nothing much, man. Same old, same old. Just a lot of golf every day because hashtag not sponsored by Club Champion yet, maybe in the future or something. But yeah, just super happy about where I am right now, but just trying to figure out what's next for me. Kind of enjoying being in the golf industry and meeting all these different types of people and, being able to work on my game every day. But yeah, kind of on the life side of things, trying to figure out what's next. Planning on some travel for next year, obviously with you guys, but also on my own. New Zealand is on the calendar officially. So that's something that's going to happen Q3, Q4 next year. So I'm super excited for that. But otherwise, just living life, trying to get as much golf in as I can. I think I counted out most of my rounds this year, and I've gone through almost 90 rounds, I think, which is actually a crap ton of rounds if I put it like that's like twice a week, basically. I know you guys probably, well, maybe Big is kind of right there too, but I know Ashton impacts you guys don't play that much. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on, man. Just golf,
Did,
golf,
did you remember
everything
that
golf.
Big? Do you remember that Big has a 1-year-old? Like,
Well, yeah, yeah,
he's
that's
not
true.
had he's not he
No,
banged
no,
the ball in
my
the club
my
championship.
my round count is a third of yours this year, which is
Really?
it's super rare for me because
Yeah.
I'm normally a guy that's getting out there and playing, but it as Pax can contest, like the first beginning of your child, like the first 6 months is just a black hole. Like you don't have a chance to get out. It's like if you get to see sunlight, it it'll blow you away. But like outside of that, like just to be able to go to the cookout was an extravagant thing for me to be able to leave my wife at home for multiple days. So it now that she's won, the world starts to open up again for me. She's a little easier to handle. There's less naps and less feedings and things like that. So that it starts kind of picking up where I can get out there and play more often and get away for a couple days, and the wife doesn't like kill me because I'm leaving her alone with a child that needs to be looked after 24/7. So it's getting there, but yeah, Pax can contest. First 6 months is just
That sounds
rough.
amazing. Like less naps and like less feeding. Wow.
You guys,
Yeah.
I'm envious of having a child because of you guys.
What does that mean? Like you
I'm,
You want one?
you want to feed and
I'm being
nap?
sarcastic.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I was like, not to go to like the fetish land. It's like Jack's like, I just want to feed and watch him nap. It's like I've not heard about this before, Jack. Like,
Jack,
this is
I mean,
public
to be
consumption.
brutally honest, there are moments where you're like, this is the coolest like experience in the world, and then there's moments where you're just like, why the fuck did I do this? Why couldn't I just keep it in my pants and not get myself into this situation?
Oh my god!
But that's
I mean, then
like
again, to play
a
like
tenth
to
of
play
the
like
time.
to play the science teacher. It's like, I mean, probably want to keep it in your pants from your wife forever. That might be a little bit difficult.
Yes, yeah.
Like, did you guys know that Chris is abstinent? Like, it's kind of crazy. He likes hot dogs. But
Married
another
now.
fun fact is he's abstinent. It's
And
like,
he's
oh,
married.
you guys thought I put on 5 pounds? It's the chastity belt. Okay.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I'm locked up. We're not going anywhere. Oh my god. Well, Chris, what's been new with you? I know we recently saw pictures. I know it was Frankie's first birthday, so it's kind of been a
Yep.
big event for y'all. Looked like a wonderful party.
Yep. So old school themed, Frank the Tank themed.
So epic.
I'm wearing it right now, so I'll show anybody that watches this on YouTube. Frank the Tank theme T-shirts.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So
Can we just have those? Can we have those for the cookout? Just out of context, us all wearing Chris's child down to Soul Park.
Yeah. I can get her where one she has it. We'll put a hamburger in one of her hands and then a hot dog in another hand.
She's gonna be throwing the hot dog over there because she doesn't want it. Sorry.
She is my daughter. She will never.
I was gonna say she's probably gonna fucking love hot dogs.
But we had the first birthday. It was super fun. We had like 30 people come out. Really, really enjoyed that. And I mean, being able to see, a little one go from like being a nugget that I could fit like from forearm to here to now like killing me when I have to carry her more than 2 minutes. being a little 28-pound chunkster now, and like it's crazy. So that's been like mainly my entire year has been just wrapped around my daughter. But getting out and playing still, I was still able to go and we did the cookout this year, which was great. Got to do kind of a little mini trip with some of our buddies that come out to the cookout as well. Missed out on a couple really awesome trips. I have had a lot of injuries this year too, and I think that's also because it's lack of movement and lack of playing because of being on 100% daddy duty this year. So like blew out my back, blew out my knee, blew out my elbow. Like it was just everything happened this year. So, I've been battling some injuries, but shot the best round I did all, in 13 years. So went out and shot the sexy 69. If anybody's listened to any of the past pods that I did, the past pod I did with Jack on our equipment pod, we talked about it a little bit, which was great. And I think, where I'm going with my coach, Andy Morris, has been heavily beneficial to my golf game, and it's definitely starting to notice. So even though I haven't been able to play rounds, I've still working in the golf industry. I get swings in every day, so it's not like I'm not getting swings in. But if anybody knows, hitting indoors or hitting on a mat is not the same as being out on the golf course. Your swing could be as good as it wants to be until you get some undulation and a little bit of slope out there. Doesn't fucking matter if you're not if you don't have on-course reps, it definitely comes through, and it definitely has been noticed coming out of hibernation, out of the winter into the spring. I don't feel like my game ever gets to where it needs to be until like July. And then I've got 2 months to like have great golf, July, August, and then it starts dipping down again. So outside of that, though, we're thinking of moving back to Portland, leaving Salem now that my wife's in a new job. She's having to work 2 days a week in Portland, and everybody here knows that I commute from Salem to Portland. So we miss living downtown, living in the city as well. So if anything, we'd be buying a condo in downtown Portland in one of the high rises, and moving back into the city instead of like suburbs or anything like that, because that's just kind of more our vibes. We gave the suburbs a try. Not us. We're not green thumbs. We don't like taking care of a yard. There's things that, and we love being able to walk to the local bakery and be able to walk and have our corner coffee shop, and me knowing everybody in the liquor store down the street. It's just that's who I am, and not having my like local spot. It's true. Every time when I live in the city.
What's up, Bob? You want a thing of whiskey? Okay,
Yep.
See you tomorrow.
You got
Tony!
it. Yeah, I'm right. And then Joseph is down the street, my barber. I've got my crew in my neighborhood. I just miss that. I miss community.
Totally,
That's what the suburbs used to be, and nobody in the suburbs talks to their neighbors anymore. It's a very different vibe. You're in your own cocoon of your home, and you just have people that live next to you. It's not the suburbs we all kind of grew up in our childhoods, So I miss the community of what I got in the city. So hopefully within the next 6 to 9 months, the world figures it out when it comes to interest rates and in our economy, and we can make the jump and move back. But that's pretty much where we're at this year. Not anything crazy exciting.
Cool. Yeah, no, I feel in the community. I mean, like it's big for San Francisco, but we place more of a value on everything you just said. Walking everywhere, walking to the grocery store, walking to my barber. Like, it's not for everybody, but we feel the same way. Um, yeah, as for me, I think I mean, it's just been the month of October was a blur. I mean, I travel a lot. I did the math over 29 days. I spent 53 hours on a plane. I'm not a consultant. That wasn't for work. I mean, I guess a little bit of it was, but went up to Portland for a wedding. 24 hours later, went to London for 5 days. Totally fucked up my sleep clock. Was home for 8 days. Went to Japan, Tokyo and Kyoto. It was delightful. Was home for 48 hours. Got on a plane to Chicago for 2 days for work, and got home like a week and a half ago. And it's been a blur. I mean, it was great. I went to London with my sister. We had a wonderful time. Very hard to be in London and not play golf, like not have golf clubs. Like I was just like looking at the golf courses, Heathland Golf. So very weird to be over there and to not have golf factor in at all, but it was great. Kind of the same thing with Japan, except, I've listened to pods about Japan. Japanese golf is just totally different, very private. Hope to do that one day, but like you don't go to Japan and you're like, wow. I was there when the Zozo happened, but it just didn't work out. So it's been kind of crazy, but super glad to be home. I think we don't leave till Atlanta till the 20th, so we're here for like 6 or 7 weeks. Got all jacked the last couple of weeks, kind of just back to the rhythms of life, and also this will be for I guess next year the kind of goals and stuff. But let's just say I'm kind of in the lab as far as kind of off season stuff, body, swing speed, that kind of stuff. The initial part of it, but it feels good to be back. Cool. Well, what I thought we'd do to start off is we can make this interactive, but I told you guys to not listen to our goals pod, and I was going to quiz you on kind of what this looks like. But before we get started, I mean, we're going to go around. Jack, I'm going to start with you. I'm not going to give you an option to guess. I'm just going to tell this to you because you need to hear this because we love you. Your first goal, you proudly said, was to break 5.0 on Gen. I'm on the Gen app right now. The last time you posted a score was November of 2022. You told us you played 90
I was just about to jump in and remind him. He played 90 rounds.
And also,
and that's an entire year.
Jack,
it's around 80 rounds, 80 to 90.
That's completely irrelevant. That means your handicap would have turned over 4 times since then. And also, just as a fun fact, your scores going backwards, it all counted were 79, 78, 78, 79, 76, 78. I don't think I've ever shot in the 76 times in a row. So my point is to say, I'm just saying, I would love for you to break a 5. We simply have no clue if that's the case because your handicap's a year old. I don't know what to tell you. So you apologize? That's where we're starting.
Sure, I'll apologize. I'll apologize to myself.
That's true. Actually, you're probably harming yourself, if we're being honest.
I think there's an issue with NorCal golf guys not shooting them on the foot or anything, but
definitely on them.
Yeah, so basically it's not like my NorCal golf guys thing isn't connected to the Gen app, and I don't know why, or it's not connected to my Gen for some reason. And I just have I tried to troubleshoot it
tonight.
I'm not gonna sign up with them. This is the thing. I'm not gonna sign up with NorCal golf guys. I'm just gonna do it straight through NCGA. But yeah, I basically wasted a year's subscription to NorCal golf guys with my handicap not being connected to them. So
okay. Well, I'm lightly making fun of you. All I'm saying is handicaps are important. We want to know what you're not that we want to know what your handicap is, but if we play a match, go in there. I think my handicap, if I go back and just look, I haven't played a bunch of golf, but my last score, my last 20th was around at the Ridge. July 22nd was my 20th round. Just saying, you play too much golf to not have an accurate handicap. So we can't say. I mean, here's the deal, though. Who's to say? Maybe you did break 5. We will never know.
I like this. I'll say my best round this year was a 74 at Moffett. I don't think I would have broken 5 this year on the on the runarounds that I had. Because I mean, I think I pretty much played a like 5 to my worst was probably like a 7 because I had like 3 rounds where I could barely break 85. So, uh, like at my worst, I'm a 7. I think at my best, I'm a 5. So
And
I'm
all I'm
pretty
saying is
happy
put
with
them
where
in,
I'm.
and we'll know for a fact. So that's all I'm saying. Okay, we're not going
Sounds
to be
good.
too verbose on each of these. Your next one, Jack, golf, not golf swing. How do you feel like you did on that
Hmm.
this year?
A lot better over the last couple months. I think definitely there was probably like a month and a half or so where it's, you know, part of that is just being present, where, I was just not thinking about what's ahead or a shot that, a bad shot that I hit. I think honestly Sunday was pretty good because I felt like I was just there on every shot. I maybe thought about a bad shot on the second hole, and then I was just like, all right, whatever. Like I'm playing my miss day. That's kind of how I've stayed with that. It's just like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily just like playing my miss, but I've been listening to Chasing Scratch had this one episode recently called Freewheeling. They were doing something with a mental coach, and he was talking about being present and accepting results. And that's kind of been where I've tried to be at my best over the last 3 months or so. Um, Something that I like in my mind when I'm playing is when I hit a bad shot, I tell myself I'm going to accept that collect call. In the movies when there's like a scene of someone getting a collect call from like jail or prison, like it's that message that goes like, would you like to accept this collect call from so and so correctional facility or whatever. Like that's what plays in my mind every time like I hit a bad shot. I'm just like, yeah, I'll accept this call from this correctional facility. Like I'll accept this call from the bunker or from the trees or from a hazard. So I
Wait,
just
Jack,
tell
I
myself,
think what you're thinking is, you remember that like cereal? That's what you're thinking of. Like
yeah, 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 exactly. Yep.
you
With
collect call
the
from
cereal pod.
Yeah.
Syed,
That was
yeah,
like the first
yeah,
viral podcast ever. Yeah,
yeah,
that
like
makes
first
sense.
viral crime podcast. But yeah, that's what I think about whenever I put myself in a bad shot. I'm just like, it happened. You can't do shit about it now. So, yeah, I think rarely there are times where I really like beat myself up about like the golf swing anymore. Like I
Yeah.
think over the last, like I said, the last 3 months, I've really been just like, hey, I know I'm putting in the work. It's at this point, it's just like being present and around, accepting the results, and just like, just not, causing yourself anxiety that you did something bad. Because, like, we're not fucking playing for money. Like, we're playing for, you know, ourselves, our community. Like, that's been pretty good, I would say.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go two at a time, just to each of us, so that it's an interactive conversation. So you guys aren't just like having to sit here. Pax, your first one was play a lot of golf pre-baby. How do you think you did on that? I guess that was basically like the 3 months after we were kind of did that pod. How'd you do?
Uh, man, uh, I honestly don't remember what life was like before the baby, but I do remember I had one round. It was like I think it was on a Friday. It's random thought, but it was on a Friday because I remember we were going into going to induce labor on a Tuesday, but then Hayes came the next day. Like labor started the next day, and that round was at Elk Ridge out in Skamania, Washington. And that was probably the best round that I had this year. Which I think it was, I shot like a 76, 77 maybe. That goes to show like I haven't really played that much golf this year. But I do remember that round. That was a great day of golf. It was gorgeous day. I was hitting like I don't know, 10-footers, like 10-foot putts, like pretty easily. But yeah, I'd say like after Hayes came, the first couple of months, I remember going out a couple times golfing with actually our buddy Kyle. But now it's, things have gotten, real, and I haven't been able to golf that much lately. But yeah, I'd say the one thing that I'm focused on is just having a good time out on the golf course. Like, not getting mad at the shots that I'm hitting just because I can't practice that much. I don't play that much. But yeah, focusing on, just staying present, like what Jack said, just not really focusing on the scores because I know those will come later, hopefully when he's a little older and I can get away for a while. But yeah, it's such a funny question. Like, I have no idea what my life was like before.
Yeah. No, I get it. Well, it's kind of funny because you're next to him in a lump together. It's probably the same. You said golf fitness and golf psychology were important to you. I imagine that's going to probably roll over to this year.
They were important to me. Yeah, I mean, I was working out a lot before he was coming, like, kind of getting into that dad mentality. Need to be in my best shape, read a bunch of books. Looking back on it now,
that's actually what people think before they have kids.
That's what that's what I think what I thought they were supposed to think. Now it's literally just, it's just survival. I'd say that my health is probably the number one thing that I want to focus on in the future. Cause I was like, I got into a pretty bad like soda kick. And health and soda isn't really great. Doesn't go, hand in hand very, very well.
Gotta look at Big's face right now.
Soda?
As he guzzles, like, God knows what is in that orange can he's got in his hand. And now he's frozen, and that's a sick face to be frozen on. Oh, it's tea. Okay, at least it's tea.
Yeah, that's going to be the thumbnail. Fitness before Hayes, yeah, I was on top of it. Fitness now, I haven't, like, how old is he? He's like 4 months old. I haven't done anything in about 4 months. So that's where my head's at.
Pax, your job is to put baby weight on. Well, the baby puts weight on. I didn't know if you knew that. That's actually the secret. Is you put a blanket of weight on.
Yeah.
And you match the baby. So having rolls yourself is actually an okay thing. You're supposed to match your baby. Just so you know. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I know that now.
So, Chris, have you gained then 28 pounds over the last year? Has that been the goal? As Frankie
100%.
goes, so do you?
100%. It's definitely minimum.
What's actually kind of funny, though, is I've noticed that I've been hitting my drives a lot farther. I think it's like dad power.
A little thicker.
You get into like a new tier of strength once you have.
Have you tried to pick up
early boy
cars yet?
No, not yet. I haven't got.
I don't think you lift cars by like lifting your like. It's very dangerous.
Hey, Ashton, when you have dad strength and you're in our boat, you'll know.
Okay, you know what, Pax? Thank you for sharing. We're going to jump to yours, Chris. The first one that you said was, quote, I want to be athletic and flexible. So there's that. The second was you said that you wanted to look more like Tommy Fleetwood than Chubby Fleetwood because your wife had started to call you Chubby Fleetwood. So based off your previous comment, how has that gone this year?
I failed miserably. I did not hit any goals.
You're gonna go, hey Doc, I downloaded Fit for Golf.
I went the opposite way. I did make the efforts I bought the weight. Did I use them? No. They're in there. They're actually still in the Amazon boxes. Never took them out. Still in the Amazon boxes.
There's the preview for the podcast right there. Hell yeah.
I will say I lifted them from the porch into the house. So they have been lifted. Not often, just the one time. Just one time. I lifted them into the house. But that's about the exercise that I accumulated the entire year. Was lifting my weights into my house. So that was a failure. And as you guys know, at the beginning of the pod, I did mention that I blew out about 3-4 different parts of my body. So flexibility didn't happen either. But I did get a swing coach. So 1+.
No, that's a big deal.
Was not part of my goals, but did get a swing coach.
You also had speed on here. I mean, not that that's that. I mean, I'm guessing you probably have not added speed, but you're more. Yeah?
Yeah, so speed has come back because I'm more efficient with my swing. Who would have thought? Who would have thought swinging with your arms wasn't efficient?
That's one way to do it.
What? Yeah, so it's I've gotten more efficient with my swing, so that in turn has allowed me to gain some speed without actually having to exercise, which was cool. It was really cool being able to get back some speed without actually.
Dude, Chris, you're on one tonight. I've missed you, man. This is delightful.
Yeah,
I looked at the fucking Amazon box full of weights. I
didn't have to give up cheeseburgers for speed, or hot dogs. I eat cheeseburgers for breakfast. I eat hot dogs all day. That's how I'm coming to the cookout next year. Anyways,
I'm dying.
Wow, this is even better than I thought. This is incredible.
Did get cheeseburgers for breakfast. That's a line.
Okay, I'm going to jump back to PAX because PAX might have to go at any minute because #Hayes might call at any point. Your last one, PAX, was, and this is going to kind of go a little bit into our, sure. I mean, Willie Mays Hayes and Frank the Tank. Like, he's just, whatever I name my kid, Chris is going to be like, yeah, like the 1972 Green Bay Packers offensive lineman. It's okay, like, sure. Pax, you said create meaningful content. That was your other, your fourth and final goal.
Man,
we're getting there. We're getting there. I mean, it's mainly been me and Chris not doing the voiceovers.
I'd say the meaningful content is definitely in the works. It's definitely coming. I'd say all that we've accomplished on the pod, super proud of it. I know, this might come out, when we talk about our goals, for next year. Definitely super excited where we're headed. I'd say, I'm super proud of, what we've created here and kind of where the direction's going. And yeah, really excited for when we, release the cookout video, when we get that stuff all sorted out too. So yeah, I'd say that's definitely, win in this category. Cool.
And then last thing, because you said 45 minutes, and I'm trying to make your wife not hate us when we haven't even met her yet. We'll get to, the three of us will get to this in a little bit, but before, one of the last things I wanted to touch on is there something that you're thankful for this year? I mean, it can be golf, it can be related to our community, it could be you had a kid, and that's probably should be the answer. Not like Chris, who's like, I was a club champion and also had a kid. But yeah, anything you want to share, there could be multiple answers, but because this will come out pre-Thanksgiving, just wanted to give you a moment to spotlight anything that really kind of shines for you this year.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot that I am thankful for this year. Definitely having a kid, moving back up to Lacey. It's different than Portland. Cause Sarah and I, we lived in Portland for like 8 years now. And it's the pace is a lot different. It's like, you have to drive to go to the grocery store. When we just walk to Trader Joe's, it's like a 5-minute walk to Trader Joe's over there. So just getting used to the pace of life over here, which is different. But yeah, definitely thankful to move closer to home, move closer to family. And honestly, like meeting you guys this year was one of the top things that I've experienced this year, just making friendships and golf friends. Really, I don't have many golf friends or friends who golf, and I usually kind of just go by myself. Or well, now I'm close to my cousin who golfs, but before that, like I'd play with him, every once in a while, and we talk all the time, and we can just chop it up about what's going on in the golf world or our podcast in general. And I'm glad I have kind of you guys to rely on too, and not just on golf, just like overall life stuff.
Got you, dog.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot for me to be thankful for, and I'm sure I'm leaving some stuff out too. But I feel like it's been a pretty stressful year, but a very good year overall.
Awesome, man. Well, I know we all feel like you said. I mean, it's been great to have you in the fold. I can't wait to see kind of, once Chris and I get you what you need, the cookout video, the travel series is going to come out next year. But yeah, it's just been really fun to get to know you. And yeah, I mean, it's going to feel amazing when kind of get to the new year and kind of finally go on this first trip of ours and start to really put out some of the content we're wanting to do. It's been a long time coming, and it's crazy. Like, relatively speaking, I guess it still feels new since you joined, but I kind of forget what it was like before you were part of the crew, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So we're definitely thankful for you. And like you said, like, cool to get to kind of have your expertise, but just kind of fun to hang out with you, like getting to play with you at the cookout, the practice round, getting to play Rustic Canyon. I can't wait for many more rounds ahead. Cool. I guess I should have kept talking.
Yeah.
Pax, you can keep listening. You can bounce whatever you need to, but we'll keep going. Jack, so your two remaining goals were gaining speed, which I think you've done, if I remember correctly. You went from
Yes,
like
sir.
a slow ass, like, God, beginning of the year, you were something that I was like, you're like a 102. It was slow. Getting fit. Oh, sorry. Gaining speed and getting fit. Because we did this last time. You were like, I mean, I wish I could play the clip. It's like, I'm going to trust the numbers. And I guess you are. It just, you probably are tinkering more than ever before. It's not a bad thing, but gaining speed, getting fit. I guess you are getting fit. It's just you're changing a lot being in the industry. So how do you rack yourself up? How do you rack yourself? How do you, what's the word? How do you grade yourself? There we go. Grade yourself.
Yeah, a solid A minus, B plus, right in between there as far as the speed part goes. I think a lot of that turned into really trying to understand the golf swing more. So being in the industry now and like seeing, I think over, gosh, like almost 200 different golf swings now since I've been at Club Champion. Really understanding what speed is and what it does for people, and what the golf swing is and how it works and everything like that. Like I think definitely a solid A minus, B plus in terms of speed. So I think over the last few months, like last 2 to 3 months, it's been a lot more of trying to apply that on the golf course. Like, I think the top speed I've had this year was like 115 is what I've hit the fastest club speed. And realizing like, okay, like I gotta next year, like one of my goals is just maintaining that. So the way I did it was just pure, just like swinging as like taking 75 to 100 swings of like, how fast can I swing this 7-iron? How fast can I swing this driver? And those were like my speed sessions for a few months. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that does me pretty good, but there's other ways to do it. So I'd say A minus, B plus. And then on the getting fit side of things, I think probably a B minus because I am tinkering. Shafts are pretty dialed. So shafts are dialed. Heads for irons, I got to tinker with a little bit. And then the last thing I'm tinkering with is a driver. So, but I'd say B plus because I mean I've played with the same iron shafts and set for most of the season, I think. So the only real like new thing that I added after getting fit at Club Champion was really a hybrid that myself and my other fitters fit me for, which has been it's just like a trusty little club. Like if I'm ever on a par five and I'm like, I don't want to hit 3-wood, but I still want to get it out there, that's the club I'm hitting. So really happy about that. But equipment's pretty good. I think I told you guys on the chat that, oh, well, I don't think I've told Big Chris, but I'm getting some T150, T100 heads from our Titleist rep. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's pretty good grades. Yeah. Money, please. Tom Haverford over here.
God, so good. What's her name? Because it's Tom Haverford's. It's John Ralphio's
Girlfriend.
sister.
Yeah,
Sister.
John Ralphio's sister. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mona Lisa.
Money, please.
Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa.
Mona
There we
Lisa.
go.
Clubs, please. That's
Pretty
that's
much.
me and Big.
Yeah,
But yeah,
well,
man,
let's be
it's
real. You guys are all, as you should. I mean, I can't imagine just having stuff thrown on me because, ironically, Chris, your last one was trust my fit, don't tinker. But the same idea. It's like you had your Onmas, which I don't even know if you're still playing those. I think you are. But then, like, didn't like. Okay, so tell the people you failed this one. So tell us about it.
So the Hanmas I fit for myself last year, and I mean they weren't bad. It was really I was given multiple sets throughout the year, and so I tested out multiple ones, and I was in so pretty much 2 weeks after that pod came out. I kind of refit myself into ZX5s, and I've been playing those ever since. So 7-8 months out of the year, I've been playing Strixon ZX5s. But outside of that, everything else has stayed the same in my bag outside of my irons. So everything pretty much I will say, customer walked in and bought my putter right out of my bag. So that did change because I'm not going to say no to free money.
free money. I was about to say.
Yeah, if a customer is going to give me $300 over what I paid for my putter, I will sell it in a heartbeat. So sold that guy.
Jack says no. Jack says no to free money.
Yeah. I don't think I told you about it. I had a customer from Thailand offer me like, I don't know, an absurd amount of money for my putter, and I was like, no, we fit you for this one. We're gonna get you the one that we fit you for.
Yeah, I have no shame in my game to switch that up. It is also the best part of my game. So like I could, no shade on anyone, but I could throw most putters in my bag and won't diminish how I putt. So it's one part where if somebody tried to do that with my 3-wood, I'd probably fight them. So it's different. So like I would definitely fight somebody for my 3-wood. That's not coming out of my bag, and that's the one club that's been in my bag for almost 3 years now. So that thing's never coming out. But everything else stayed the same other than irons. But like I said, the irons I refit myself in couple weeks later, and I even got free clubs from Titleist and already got rid of them and put them in a new home just so I didn't tempt myself.
Oh, it's big of you, Chris. I love that.
Yeah.
And also too, Anma, didn't work for Justin Rose, didn't work for Big Chris. It's it's understandable.
It's one thing you guys have in common.
I did donate those to Scotty Bradley, one of our buddies from the Cookout, one of my best friends since elementary school. So they are being played and put into good use. So
you're like, Scott, these suck. They don't work for me. Here you go, man. I'm just kidding.
Hey, if you're replacing 15-year-old Cleveland irons, I think he is very happy with having that option.
Yeah. I'll run down mine real quick. I'm pretty proud of my year because I think that I just had my first lesson with KP when we did this, and as a reminder, that's Kevin Pauly, my coach. It's done a lot for my game this year. So for me, the biggest thing was like vanquish the driver. So to be clear, I can still hit a right ball sometimes, but to not be afraid of my driver, to not make it where at any point I could, have the fucking like video of me hitting the scoreboard at Royal Links at any point. And I feel like I've done that. I feel like I understand, like Kevin's just totally changed how I hit my driver, and my driver, I hit it far enough where it's really become a weapon. Get the right driver. Shout out to you guys. KP kind of called it, like my Ventus TR Black, Stealth 2 Plus at 4 degrees open. Like, it's a very, very, very individual driver, but I love it. I feel confident in it. I hit it really well. Like you, Jack, I said, understanding the golf swing. These are things that I knew off the top of my head, but now understanding that, like, when I, come over the top of it, the fix for that for me is feeling like I'm swinging to the left, which I knew you needed to swing to the left for me to hit a draw, or to shallow yourself out. But I guess I knew that, but I didn't actually know that. I'm not playing golf swing, but I now on the course, if I do that, I can quickly diagnose it. Cool, no big deal. A little more to the left. Let's move on. So I do feel like I understand that. I said I was going to do the stack system and get more club head speed. I have not done that yet. The stack system is actually sitting in that golf bag right there. It came in last week. So that is something I'm going to be working on this winter. I'm super fascinated. I feel like we have enough data points to know that this shit does work. Certainly hope it does work for the cost of, sorry, it was free, I certainly hope that it works, but I'm super curious to tinker, because I hit it a long way, but 15, 20, 25 more yards. I'm not going to say no to that. And then my big goal is handicap to qualify for the Cal Mid-Am. And I hit that too. My handicap right now is a 3.1. I think it's 4.4 to get into to have the handicap to qualify for. So other than doing stack, vanquish the driver, get the right driver, understand the golf swing, handicap for the Cal Mid-Am. I did all those things. The one kind of bummer was this wasn't a goal, but my lowest handicap ever, as I've shared before, was a 2.9. Actually, Pax mentioned Elk Ridge. I played out there and I shot 2 over, I think. And when I put that score in, it said that my pending handicap for the next day was a 2.8. So I was going to break my all-time low handicap this year. And then I got PCC'd +1. So my 72, the differential changed, and my 2.8 went to a 2.9. So I've still never beaten a 2. I've hit a 2.9, but I've never hit a 2.8 because of fucking PCC, which is just, it doesn't matter, but it's just one of those things where I woke up the next day so excited, and I was like, wow, that is really deflating. That is really disappointing. Like, it said 2.8 on my gen, and then the next day, it moved. So, but I'm excited the first pod next year. I think we'll obviously record this, 6 weeks from now. We'll all kind of be in the lab, think about our goals, circle back, talk about Municipals goals, individual goals. But for now, because we're 49 minutes, we'll do a quick summary. So I went back and listened to our pod previously. 4 of us, 4 pillars, right? Jack, merch, me, tournament, packs, video, guests, and kind of big ideas, Chris, right? I think overall, I think that like we kind of talked about this last year. I think we did a great job this year at really solidifying our basics in the sense of like, I think the podcast came out scheduled every time for the first time ever. It's not a shot at you, Jack. It's just like we had more institutional, we had Squadcast, we had some of the stuff. Like we actually had it where the podcast we were running ahead of schedule. We have it on YouTube now. So if people want to watch it, shout out to you, Mom. It's on there, right? We still have some work to do, but like we said merch for Jack, but like Jack, your social like skills, like your reels were great this year. Because we're going to try to get more dialed and like you guys can understand when content's going to come, whether it's once a week or twice a week. We were still kind of sporadic this year, but I mean, some of the reels you made of our rounds at Creek and stuff were amazing. I think we took a big step up there. But I think overall, I'm pretty proud of what we've done. And now with PAX, with PAX's life, I think all of our lives feel like they're settling down a little bit going into next year. And I feel like we'll be able to kind of build on the basics. But just quickly to hold ourselves accountable, and then I want to get y'all's thoughts. I think the only places from what we said we kind of did not do what we said we were going to do is we talked about quarterly merch drops. We've not done that yet. We haven't really done a lot of stuff on merch. However, y'all did it. I mean, the hoodies for the cookout, I've been shocked at the response. Like, I thought they looked great. Like, I was like, these look awesome, Chris and Jack, like, awesome. But, like, people wear them all the time, and we get so many compliments on them. So, like, while we've not done merch yet, like, the way we want to like, kind of like Sugarloaf, I mean, I think like the hoodie is like a lasting piece in people's collection, and I think that's going to be the goal for when you come to our tournaments and for moving forward. Video series, we've mentioned this before. Pax had a kid. We were going to go on this travel series later this year. Pax shared with us that he wasn't comfortable to do that. He didn't want to leave his wife. Totally get it. That's the priority. So we're going to be planning for our travel series in the spring. Video will probably come out in the next summer. So we've not forgotten, like that was not us being negligent. It's just we have to listen to one of our teammates who didn't feel comfortable. And again, the cookout video is going to come out soon. That's been on me and Chris. I've been out of town. Chris has been super busy. He needs something from us. We haven't done it. So we will get on that soon. Let's say, hopefully we can have that out in December for people, Chris. We'll get on that soon. We talked about the cookout 2.0, which, the Oregon one. We didn't do that just because, like, it just didn't work out this year, but we're not going to say anything.
Yeah, bar run.
Yeah, like essentially the golf course just kind of like ghosted us. But we're not going to say anything else. But Chris literally today had a meeting with the course. Like things are rolling for the Cookout 2.0, which the Crab Shack, Chris, that's right.
The Crab Shack. We are set, date set, ready to go. Getting pricing finalized. It will not be beginning of September. It will be last week of August.
Okay, boom. So that will happen next year. So we'll hit that goal next year. And then I think one of the other things we talked about was having like a revolving one that would have taken place next year. That's going to get kicked out one more year. So it's going to be next year will be Cookout, Crab Shack. The next year will be the rotating. And then that's kind of the events that you can expect from us. And then the last part was Jack and Pax were discussing, because I mean, Chris and I love doing the pod, but I mean, candidly, like, even though we've cut back to bi-weekly, like we can get burnout. Like it's hard to think about content. And Jack I appreciate this a lot about Jack. He's pushed us and like, well, what else can we talk about? Right. We've talked about, I don't know how much y'all want to listen to us talk about PGA Tour golf. We think about it a lot. We've talked about doing kind of like no laying up is done, like going back into maybe instead of professional majors, maybe going back looking at AMs, but just sort of different content, and also some stuff that's going to be spearheaded by Jack and Pax, so you can hear their voices as well. But again, those are the only things that we didn't quite nail, but everything else we said we did this year, which especially a year when Pax has a kid, moves, Chris is learning how to be a dad. I mean, I'm pretty proud of what we did this year. Yeah, I mean, it's been a
Yeah,
huge year of
Jack moved
change
back
for
and
us.
forth from New York.
Yeah. Oh my
You
God.
were
I started the
all
year in
over
New
the
York City.
world. Yeah, like every single one of us had something major
Yeah.
happening. And so it was a rocky year. I'm glad we got every pod out on every Thursday. I think
Yeah.
if anybody knew how crazy our lives were this year, I think they would also be very impressed that we at least got to that. So I
Totally.
feel pretty solid about what we got to this year. We had some goals we definitely wanted to tackle, but we had positive and good reasonings to be able to postpone those for the following
It
year.
wasn't because we forgot about them or we're
Nope.
slacking.
We had plenty of conversations about them. It was just more conversations of, is this viable, or do we need to be responsible and push this when we can do it correctly? And hey guys, we don't want to just shoot out crap for you guys. Like, we want to make sure it's good quality product and content that we're putting out. So if we can't do it well, we're not going to do it at all. So that's kind of, we didn't want to put a last minute tournament out there. We didn't want to put a bunch of thrown out merch because me and Jack weren't able to really dial it down and get it to where we want it to go. Video content, we refused to do it without packs. So, he is the glue that holds our video content together. So we're not going to go do this elaborate trip and then send him a bunch of really crap footage that he has to figure out how to make content with. It would have just been a waste of money for a group of guys that are already on a tight budget, and we have to utilize those funds in the proper way to be able to get the best, first real big content for you guys. So, it's all coming. We've got it planned. We've got a few, conversations in the works that we're going to have and get it all, pushed out for next year. But next year is going to be a big one. I have a big, strong feeling about what we're going to be putting out next year.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is, I mean, I remember when we had Tron on the first time, I think we were doing the pod for a couple months. I remember before he pressed record, we asked him for advice. And the biggest thing he told us was consistency. Because at our core, I mean, this could change over time, but at our core, it's always started with us, right? I mean, I love PAX, but it's been the three of us have always been this, right? And it's always been about recording the conversations that we always said we don't care if anybody listens. We're going to record the conversations we had, right? And his big thing he told us was, I forgot exactly the date, but it took them years before anyone really, I think that's right. Yeah. 4 years before anybody paid attention to them. And I don't think we don't expect anyone to pay attention to us the way they do with No Laying Up. It's a little bit different. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of is we still have never missed a podcast. Never have. Have some been up to our liking? No, I will never, ever, ever, ever forget our 36 hole round at Bandon when we walked 36 holes and Chris and I went back to the I think it was called the Red Lion or Gold Lion Hotel.
Yep.
And we literally pressed record. We were one of us would talk and the other one would essentially fall asleep while the other person was talking. And then, I know that wasn't the best content, but our point was we are not going to miss one, even though we're exhausted and we want to go to bed. And hopefully y'all have noticed that we've gone to bi-weekly. The quality's been better guests, better conversations. We've gotten better at this. But I think the consistency of the podcast is what's most important. We got to get social dialed in because this sucks, but the way we're going to get discovered more is social. It's not the podcast. Unless Tiger wants to come on and talk municipal golf, it's not going to fucking happen, right? The socials where we're really going to grow. Video, I think, is when people are really going to take us seriously, meaning candidly, we love all y'all for listening. But as far as brands actually help us do what we want to do, it's probably going to be some of the video stuff, right? But the core of this will always be every 2 weeks, a podcast coming out at, when you wake up on Thursday morning, there it is. And it's crazy to say. I mean, this is our third year of that, right? Second, third. third full year for that.
We're going into our third full year.
Yeah, which is crazy. So, yeah, I feel that sense of pride too. What about you, Jack?
For me, I think next year is something. I know we talked about this off air, but like figuring out our, how we've grown up and what our identity is and what our, not to put a very businessy term to it, like what our product is. And I think something that's been simmering in my mind is just like the big thing that we do really well, or we have done really well, is, built our own little community, like how we can bring together people through golf and what we do. Like, I want people to have the same experience that all three of us have. I know we all met at a random golf trip, like Big Chris says, that, a bunch of guys that met through Instagram, like put together. That is, something that I want to be able to bring to people, because I think through a lot of the rounds of golf that I've played this year, I don't know if you guys listened to KVV's recent like podcast or read that article about playing golf alone, but as much as I love playing golf alone, the best times that I've remembered since since COVID, picking up golf, meeting you guys, is the rounds that we've played together. And to me, it all just goes back to community and how we can bring people together in this stupid game that we all love. So I'm very thankful for the opportunities that we've all had to come together this year, even though Big Chris and I have only played one round together this year, which is kind of funny and sad at the same time. But yeah, I think next year for me is all about, how can we bring people together through our podcasts, through the events that we're doing, and through the stories that we're telling on our little platform that we built for ourselves. So that to me is what's really important. Yeah, and I'm excited for the opportunity to keep doing this with you guys, because I think, Ashton, just going back to something that you said years ago, like one thing that is super hard to do as an adult is to make friends. And that's something that I'm thankful for every day. But even though, when I'm having my bad rounds, I'm just like, think about like, how did I get here to playing golf? And it was, just to find friends as an adult, getting out of the military, especially, like that was super hard for me. So I think looking forward and being thankful for the community that we've built and bringing something more special to them every year is kind of my North Star for what we're doing.
Here, man. Very, very, very much agree. Let's be really concise here because we're over an hour. Thing you're thankful for. I'll lead off. I think that's something we should say every year, but
Also,
it's really important.
After you say things you're thankful for, I also want to know what your favorite new course that you were able to play this year.
Okay, I can do that. I'm thankful for my health. I don't even think I've got to tell you this, Big, but basically, like, I've been having like knee issues for the last several months. Turns out I have a torn meniscus. I had swelling in my knee. To make a long story short, my knee was swollen not because of my torn meniscus. I thought was going to have surgery. I was looking at anywhere between 4 to 6 months of recovery time. And as it turns out, I switched back to an old medication. My knee is fine. And I'm kind of back to being the active person that I am. And it's more of just the reminder of, in the same way to talk about how life can be fleeting. It's crazy how like a little bit of swelling in your knee can make it where you can carry your golf bag and go to the gym and walk around, to suddenly just not being mobile at all. Like you just can't you're just uncomfortable doing everything. And so it's a reminder, especially when you happen to feel good, to take to very much kind of appreciate your health. Just it's something we got to work for. But I think all of us probably have kind of like athletic and flexible goals going to the new year. And I think it's officially the year where we should probably, before every 6 months, like not every 6 months, hold each other accountable, right? What have you done this week to get better, right? Or just kind of like hold each other in a very polite, friendly way more accountable, because the difference between, I know for me, of having a swollen knee and a not swollen knee has been huge for like my mental health, mental well-being, all that stuff. Favorite new course. I mean, I feel like it's cheating, but I went to Bandon for the first time. Bandon Trails. My sort of hipster answer. I think I did. Actually, the podcast has not, even though I've recorded it, it'll come out the third week of January. Trophy Lake Golf and Casting Club is my dark horse for sure. It's Bandon Trails adjacent. It's Bandon Trails in a cart. It's Bandon Trails in the middle of nowhere, Washington. So I guess you can say Bandon Trails and Bandon Trails in some ways, but Bandon Trails absolutely kind of blew the doors off. But Trophy Lake Golf and Casting Club was was, for the purposes of this podcast, that's probably the better answer, because if you all know Bandon Trails, you're living under a fucking rock. So, Big, what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for people in my life that I can rely on. Being a new dad, there's been a lot of trials and tribulations this year. Not only, learning how to be a dad, but also how to juggle the rest of my life while being a dad. It's hard to stay social and stay connected with others when you have a life that you're responsible for, just a lot of things happen throughout the year that definitely were trying times in my personal life, and having people like you guys and good family around me to be able to make it through the year definitely is what I'm most thankful for, because it's been a tough one, and I think getting through it this year has been because of the friends and family that I've chosen to surround myself with. So I'm thankful for you guys and everybody else around me. So that's my true thankfulness. And then my favorite new course that I got to play this year is Tokatee, between Eugene and Bend in Oregon. I mean, just an absolute mega spectacular course that just I don't think enough people know about. I don't know if I want enough people to know about it, because I want to keep it my own little pocketed secret. But if you listen to this pod, you're coming through Oregon, you have to play it, because it, bar none, top 5 best courses outside of Bandon, top 5 best courses in Oregon. Not even close.
Bar none, not bar run.
I do absolutely, even though I'm mad at Bar Run for not getting back to me about the tournament, I still absolutely love that golf course, and people definitely need to play it.
Yeah. Okay, Jack, take us home.
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely the game of golf overall. Like you guys said, I didn't even remember that I lived in New York for almost 30 something days. So, but it's everything around it. The people that it's brought me with, getting a new job at Club Champion because of Big Chris, being in the industry and just meeting all these different people. But really the community part of it is something that I'm both really thankful for and super excited for next year about. It's all the good shots, all the bad shots, and just learning about it. It really is like, I know it's super cliche and something that I don't know if we've ever said on the podcast, but it really is like really a game that's super representative of life. It has its ups and downs, and um, I love that this is really my like sixth, sixth full year of playing and still learning a lot about it. So I'm very thankful for it, but mostly thankful for the people that it's brought me close to, and it's allowed me to be around like you guys. Um, uh, Favorite new course? You guys might not like me for this because it's not a public course, but Stonebrae up in the East Bay is it's something else. So something that's super super just fun, and it will eat you up alive. Tee to green, like really great challenging course. So if you ever have a chance to go play it, definitely recommend it.
Well, yeah, you didn't mention that because I mean, like what Lake Merced was pretty sweet. I mean, not that I played it. I'm just saying, like Lake Merced, the new Lake Merced's pretty cool. I've heard. So
So I've heard also, yeah.
many
Uh,
people are saying,
some people are saying, some of my
yeah,
customers are saying.
yeah, there you go. Yes, some of Jack's customers are telling me that it's cool. Yeah. But yeah, boys, this was again a hell of a year with all we've gone through. Instead of going to fucking war. Like it's been a big year. We've done a lot. But yeah, I hope everyone has a delightful Thanksgiving. We're going to kind of spend the next 2 months or so in the lab, kind of again, like Jack said, defining the mission statement, refining some of our goals, figuring out our own goals. Also, we're ahead of schedule. I mean, we have to record our goals pod, but we're already starting to stack podcasts for the new year, which that feels new. That feels exciting. But yeah, grateful for you both, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Peace.